Excuse me, sir. You by chance wouldn't know anything about NHL sponsorships, would you?
Do I ever? Guys, welcome back in. Happy Friday to everyone out there. If you see, I was just getting my little meditation on that rock right there. Just getting the zen for these videos. So, you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail. NHL sponsorships. How much do you guys make? How do they work? All these questions people have. Today I'm gonna answer that for you. Let's get to it. Okay, so in NHL sponsorships, one thing, basically it starts when you're somewhat young. When you're a prospect, for me, started in junior. So if you're a highly touted prospect, these companies will somewhat be sniffing around. They'll try and help you out. When I first got drafted to the Coyotes and I was gonna go to development camp, Bauer straight away sent me to my house helmet, gloves, pants, and some sticks. So right away, Bauer was, hey, you're gonna use this stuff. And especially on the top prospects, you know, they're really trying to like kind of push stuff. Now, I think once you get into pro, and especially at the NHL level, the standard sort of deal is what they call a 5 and 5 or a 10 and 10. So what that stands for basically is like let's say a company like a Bauer or like one of the bigger brands. They're gonna give you $5 grand in cash, $5 grand in merchandise. So what merchandise stands for. And when I say cash, like it's not actually like hand notes cash, you know, they're still, they write you a check or whatever, and you're still getting taxed on that money. So with the 5 and 5, $5 grand cash, $5 grand merch. So with the merchandise, basically each company will have some sort of like link to other companies. Like Bauer for the longest time was with Titleist, the golf clubs. So you could use that money, they'll give you credit basically to go to Titleist, get new clubs, a full new bag, whatever. Bauer was also with Lululemon, so you could get clubs, Lululemon stuff. They're with like a whole bunch of, and every company is with someone different. And TaylorMade used to, or sorry, CCM used to be with TaylorMade. So, you know, I would go and get new clubs because I use CCM stuff. And so they all have their kind of little, you know, that's how they kind of work it. The $5 grand cash, $5 grand merch, or you get the 10 and 10. So same thing, but the money's upped a little bit. 10 grand cash, that's taxed, which actually isn't really that much in the grand scheme of things. And 10 grand in merch, which is a lot in merch, really. Like even, you know, I playing with a guy recently who has that much money, and it's almost, he doesn't really know why he's spending it on certain clubs, just buying clubs to use it up, because basically you have a certain allotted time of like a year to use that 10 grand cash, and then it sort of refunnels again and you get another 10 grand. So I know it sounds like, oh my God, what am I gonna spend 10 grand on? But so I'm gonna explain here too the benefits of doing that, the benefits of being with a brand or doing what I did, and the benefits of not ever signing a deal. And I also want to say real quick too that these are kind of more standard deals for, you know, your average NHL player. Maybe it's up to 15, maybe it's up to 20 and 20, but I've never really seen any, it's usually under 50 grand. And unless you're a top dog, then they'll be giving you a couple $100 grand, or, you know, for the real top dogs, the best guys in the league, maybe somewhere in the millions, or, you know, $1 million, $2 million range or something like that. So it's actually probably not as much as you would think, given how much promotion and everything is out there. And again, I can't speak on other guys' contracts, but I know from a friend of mine this year who was actually offered by a certain company. I'll pop up the text, and this is exactly what he said about it, which I'm sure I'm you know, doing this right now off the top of my head. I'm sure he said it was a 10 and 10 situation. Okay, so the benefits of being with a brand, being with a CCM, a Bauer, someone who's got, you know, a long-lasting kind of establishment in the NHL, is when they come in, like, everything is going to be done right for you. Your specs are always going to be pretty much right. Everything is just going to be done really well, and you're going to develop a really good relationship with the companies, and they'll take care of you well. They treat you really good. You know, sometimes they can, if you ask for, hey, you know, I need such and such clubs for my dad, or if you want little things, they're really good at supplying you with these kind of things. You build relationships, and you're sort of a part of a little bit community. But I will say, the negative side of, or I shouldn't even say negative, but I would say the downside of being with a company, you're locked into that company. You sign a contract, you're with them for X amount of years, however long it is, and you can't use any other brand but that company. So if you sign something and you end up not liking the sticks, not liking the skates, gloves, whatever your deal is, usually guys sign, like, the standard thing with a 10 and 10 is like a head to toe deal. Helmet, gloves, pants, anything that's showing, pants, and on your feet, your skates, and stick as well. So the downside is that's a lot of different gear there. Throughout the course of my NHL career, I'll pop it up now. I use different helmet, I use different gloves, I use different pants. Skates have been pretty much a mainstay. I was a Bauer guy pretty much near my whole life, just only recently switched to Trues. But sticks, that was one thing for me. Always switching sticks, always trying new things. I never felt comfortable enough to be locked into everything, head to toe gear, because I didn't think the money was actually worth it. For $10,000, which gets taxed, you know, and if you're playing in a Canadian city, cut that rate in half basically, and the 10 grand in merchandise, golf clubs and all that, it just didn't, if it didn't make sense in my head, where I'm like, if I'm not comfortable using that for $20,000 extra a year, you know, when in the NHL you're earning, like, I guess the minimum now is anywhere from $850 or something like that up, which is a significant amount of dollars. If I go out and have a great season and sign a contract that's double, triple my contract already, like, what's $10,000 to, you know, in the grand scheme of things, to be comfortable, to play how you want to play, to not be worried about gear. And so that brings me into my next point, which was what I did my whole career. And everyone's different. Everyone's different. Everyone has different feels. Everyone wants different things. Some guys really like being with one company, but for me personally, I was always just did everything as a free agent. Here's a little trick of the trade that I will say. I established really good relationships with people in the industry, with a CCM, with a Bauer, so they always treated me well. I always treated them well, and they always helped me out. So I would always get, like, if I needed clubs and used CCM, I would, you know, was well enough in there where I could text them and say, hey, you know, looking for such and such, a new driver, or looking for irons or a full new bag, and they would send gift cards out and do things like that. And, you know, because I had been basically loyal to their brand, and I'm using their stuff, and they're not even paying me to be under contract, you know, so I'm still promoting them. So one thing I want to say too, real quick, is how it works in the NHL too, based on sponsorships, is they rate places of markets. So you have an ABC market, basically. A would be your big top dogs. You got your Torontos, your Montreals, your New York Rangers, places like that. B is sort of that mid ground, that they're on TV quite a lot, but maybe it's not, you know, they're maybe a mid-pack team or something like that. And your C markets are places that usually they're not on TV a whole lot. You don't, you know, maybe they've had a rough few years. Let's say like in Arizona, I played in Arizona, and that was considered a C market. Not a lot of televised time and things like that. So it's a polar difference too when they're weighing out who do we want to sign, who do we want to give money to. Let's say like a Connor Bedard in Chicago Blackhawks. Well, that's an A market. Chicago has won the cup. They're on TV, like they won 3 cups in the last 10 years. They're on TV all the time. The kid just went first overall. He's going to be on TV a lot because of that. Here, let's give him, you know, let's sign him and pay him whatever up front. And, you know, so that's how they kind of, you know, really work things too, is based off of markets. Okay, so one reason basically why I didn't ever sign a deal was, aside from me not thinking the money was, you know, good enough, I just found that I always wanted to be comfortable. I always wanted to try and do different things. And when I look at somebody like a Duncan Keith, who was, you know, huge for me in my career, he had different sticks every day. Yeah, different gloves, different skates. Like, he was always chopping and trying something. And my point basically is, like, you want to be comfortable. You worked your whole life to get to the NHL. You want to be comfortable, and you want to use whatever. You know, like, I never thought I should be completely locked into something that I didn't like. But again, if, you know, you're completely comfortable in all Bauer gear already, and that's what you used all your life, well, then it might work for you if you're wearing it already. So those are some of the things, guys, really, of how a NHL sponsorship works for equipment. If you have any questions, link them down below in the comment section. And guys, let's try and get this year, let's try and get this channel to, let's just go for next couple months and try and get it to 1,000 subscribers. How about we say that? Yo, what's up, guys? Obviously this was filmed probably a month and a half ago in Charlotte. We went for 1,000 subscribers. Man, this is the 3rd week. I'm filming this currently this is Wednesday today. Video comes out in 2 days on Friday. So, guys, I don't know what to say. I mean, thank you. Like, we surpassed, before I even said 1,000 subscribers, like, first couple videos, we already surpassed that. So can't thank everyone enough for liking, subscribing, all the above. Like, thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. I just jump back into the last little few seconds here in the video, but just want to say thank you guys. Just really push that subscribe button down below. Double subscribe if you can, and give me a like too, guys. It really helps. Like, beg you, just give me a like. Like, all you gotta do is just hit that little thing down below. Like, I'll just wait. Waiting. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Guys, thanks as always. Peace.